Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm, a podcast for movie fans just like you. With me, as always, is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and spiritual advisor, Alexis.
Ghostwatch might be the most important piece of media the British Empire has produced after Robot Wars.
Every episode is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's 90-ish minutes or less month. And it's my pick. It's Ghostwatch from 1992, streaming on Shudder right now. Right meow. And you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to that discussion. Logan left a review. Quote, "The UK gaslighting an entire nation with fake media. Is it 1992 or 2024?
Preach.
The Acolyte. Finally, some Star Wars news from Disney Plus.
It's been like a month since we've had like Star Wars news, I feel like.
Really?
No.
I just saw that.
Don't listen to him, Proto.
I got a surprise. I had Disney Plus on, and I got a trailer for the final season of Bad Batch. Apparently, that's right around the corner.
I think that's going on right now.
That's on right now. You can watch that right now on Disney Plus.
I think it's
Star Wars Insider. No one's getting this kind of late-breaking news on a podcast, folks. This is the only place you can get it.
Is this the next Andor?
no.
Oh. Wow, you heard it. You heard it here first from Danny. Danny's still, I think, harmed from the Ahsoka series. I'm not sure if the healing has completed in that regard.
I was really excited about this series. 100 years before the Phantom Menace, we got some time on our hands before we get to the Skywalkers. And then the trailer came out. It looks fine. It looks very Disney Plus TV show, Star Wars. I'm trying to remember how I felt when the Andor trailer dropped, and if I felt the same way. If I was like worried because of how much I love Rogue One. I don't know about this. This looks okay. For now, this looks okay.
I feel like Andor shocked us. I don't know if we were really amped for Andor. I think we were
that's true.
Nervous and willing to give it a shot, and then it turned out to be amazing.
Close. Yeah, I think we were too close to Book of Boba Fett at that time, where we were like, "F it all, just end it all, Disney, please." Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited. Carrie-Anne Moss is in it. Can't get any better than that, right?
Pardo, are you amped?
I would say I'm more excited for this than I would say Ahsoka or Mandalorian. But I wouldn't say this. I'm not as positive as I was about Andor. Like this doesn't have me convinced that we're getting like, something special like this. I don't know. This kind of still, to me, it kind of felt like a Saturday morning kind of Star Wars to me. So we'll see. I'll watch it though.
Well, the High Republic stuff, I remember they officially kind of like started the High Republic stuff in the books, in the novels and the comics, right? Or the novels and like Charles Soule, the Seal Man was part of the brain trust there. And it was like, everything's clean and pure. There's no Sith evil. There's no homeless, I guess, in the Star Wars universe. Everyone was happy with the High Republic. So
that's weird because what would the Jedi dress like if there were no homeless?
They're wearing like,
how would they know what to dress like?
Cleaner cloaks, cleaner, like maybe pure white cloaks.
I wish they could see your face.
I'm excited to watch the first episode. There's a lot of buzz from the creators of the show. They're saying it's like Kill Bill meets Frozen meets other stuff.
Yeah.
The action looks cool. It's a different take.
We can definitely trust a producer comparing their own product to classic, successful franchises, right?
Never gone wrong.
We have to believe.
The
That's what we have to do, first and foremost. What about this Romulus trailer that came out? Alien Romulus from Fade Alvarez, the master of horror. Did you watch this yet?
I'm pulling it up.
Oh my God. I can't believe you didn't watch it.
Take your time.
No, I'm pulling. I'm not watching it. I watched it. It was a banger trailer. I was pulling up to see. Yeah, there's like on Letterboxd. I thought I saw this the other day. There's only 5 people or 6 people listed as cast, which has me like super excited that this is just like tiny, small crew.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be fun. Kaylee Spaney's in it from Priscilla. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our time.
So yeah, I'm very excited. What a cool trailer. We didn't have like a slow Radiohead song playing as they back down the halls of this ship.
It wouldn't be a Radiohead song. It'd be someone doing a cover of a Radiohead song.
Yeah, Billie Eilish singing Creep really slowly for this trailer.
Also, people act like that's a new thing in trailers. That was happening before you were born. Listen right now. Remember our video games, Gears of War? You couldn't release a Gears of War game without some kind of cover song playing in the background.
Yeah, this has been going on for 20 years now.
Yeah.
Too long. I was talking, speaking of 20 years, you talk about 20 years.
Talk about it.
Mr. Brightside came out 20 years ago. Remember that?
Oh, my God. Changed the world.
Yeah.
Where were you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was their follow-up album to that? The one with the horse on the cover?
Knights of Sidonia?
Anybody remember that?
Sam's Town.
No.
Yes.
The one after that. There was one after that. It had a horse on it, didn't it?
Sam's
Red
Town.
design.
Mike Scott is saying Sam's Town.
I know there is a Sam's Town.
Sam's Town.
It's like I'm Tim Heidecker all of a sudden.
Lord have mercy.
I'm going to Google this album before we move on, just real
Dying
briefly, because
Breed.
apparently there's no real Killers
Dying
fans
Breed.
in...
Dying Breed.
No, there's no Killers fans in chat tonight. Albums. Battleborn. Are there any real Killers fans in chat? Nobody could come up with Battleborn in arguably their best album? Why would we even
Battleborn's
do
their
this
best
live in
album?
Discord? Some are saying.
Stop.
Some are saying.
Let's get back to movies.
Anywho, so Proto's prayer circles have worked for Romulus, potentially. You launched a prayer circle, I think maybe last month, in hopes that Romulus was coming very soon.
Yeah, I hired a few TaskRabbit workers. I've been paying them hourly for the past few weeks to pray continuously for Alien Romulus.
Fiverr?
Yo.
Fiverr prayer circle?
That's got to be a thing, right?
Through the power of prayer, accomplish anything.
Mm-hmm.
The
And I
power
got
of prayer
Alien
and money.
Romulus.
Next month is a new theme. Should we get into it?
Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Are about to announce next month's theme for April. We were throwing around a lot of ideas, but there was one that we kind of all agreed right away that was like, yeah, that might be fun. And we're going to have a guest actually in one of those episodes.
Confirmed.
So, April is going to be 60s month. Only movies from the 1960s. Those are the restrictions. We're finally going back. Very excited. And God, it's hard to choose. I'm leading off the month, and I've switched maybe 10 times with my pick.
You have like 30 seconds to announce it.
No.
Oh, you're pushing it to the end of the show.
No, I need to make a decision.
You have to make a decision.
Well, I'll leave it up. I'll say this. Would you guys
can't
prefer
leave it up.
Would you two prefer another horror movie or what would be more of like a drama thriller
Which
crime?
have either of us seen these movies?
You have not seen neither of you have seen thriller crime.
Okay.
2 of us have seen the horror, but not in the last 3 years.
Oh, what are you thinking, Proto?
Well, my movie is like crime thriller.
Oh,
so
okay.
I mean,
my
I'm
movie
open
is
to
neither
horror.
of those things.
Okay.
I'm fine with horror.
All right, it's settled.
Okay.
My pick from 1961.
Okay.
Finally on the show, The Innocents. directed by Jack Clayton.
Oh, you did it.
Deborah Kerr, our queen. Apparitions, evils, corruptions. A young governess for 2 children become convinced that the house and grounds are haunted. This is, this was nearly covered on the show in the past, and I had a lot of fun doing Ghostwatch, so I was like, do we want to do more horror? This was covered on 70mm Rejected, which some members of our community have started for movies that didn't make the cut for one reason or another on our show.
Now they have to pull the episode.
They have to pull it down. Our legal team will be reaching out shortly. So real quick before we move on to our next pick, The Innocents is next week's movie. You can't rent it digitally. There's a Criterion Blu-ray, which I own. However, I will include a link in the episode notes that there's a nice version on YouTube. So no excuses. You can just fire this up on YouTube, put it on your TV. You're going to have a fun time.
Very excited.
Who's next?
Who's next on the list?
Doc here. I'm looking. Wow. It's Proto.
Proto's next.
When I was perusing the 60s, I thought it would be inappropriate and maybe offensive not to cover a Kurosawa movie.
What?
So I'm going back to the well. I think this might be my 3rd Kurosawa because I think we did 7 Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I picked Ran.
Mm-hmm.
And now my pick, High and Low.
What?
Oh.
Which I haven't seen. I don't think you guys have seen it
I
either.
have not seen High and Low.
No.
I was looking at High and Low.
Tell me.
This movie among my friends is at 4.8.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
Is it the highest rated movie we've ever covered among friends on this show?
It might be.
It might be.
It's
4.8.
4.6 on Letterboxd alone, just the average. So
It's number 6 on the top 250. Holy moly. An executive of a shoe company becomes a victim of extortion when his chauffeur's son is kidnapped and held for ransom. Streaming on Criterion and Max right now. We talked about having a guest. Maybe it's time for us to get a guest on this show. It's been, I don't even know how long.
Who knows?
So we tapped, the big guns. Mitchell Beaupre of Letterboxd will be a guest on the very next one after Proto's pick. And they have selected one of their top 10 movies of all time from 1966. From John Frankenheimer, Seconds. A secret organization offers wealthy people a second chance at life. The customer picks out someone they want to be, and the organization surgically alters the customer to look like that person, stages their death, gets rid of the intended person, and the customer takes on a new life. This is streaming on Pluto and Canopy, and it's rentable. Frankenheimer on the pod for the first time, maybe?
I don't think we've done a Frankenheimer.
This is shaping out to be one of the best months ever.
It really could be.
frank
And
with the two of you.
I'm gonna bring us down a bit, I think. I'm excited to end the month with this movie. My film, I went back and forth a bit too. My film's from 1966. Let me read the synopsis and see if you guys can guess what it is. The dynamic duo faces 4 supervillains who plan to hold the world for ransom with the help of a secret invention that instantly dehydrates people.
I know what movie that is.
We're doing Batman.
I know it.
Adam West,
What?
Burt Ward,
What?
1966 Batman.
This
Oh
was
my
one of my
God.
ideas too. I cannot believe it. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. It's time.
There's no question. This is the greatest month in the history of the show. There's
No
absolutely
question.
no question.
We have to finish what we've started. We've covered every other Batman.
I know. It's time to end it.
Where it all
God.
started.
End it once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that movie
Amazing.
so much when I was a kid. I think I saw the movie more than I ever saw the TV show. I don't even know
yeah,
how.
definitely.
Must have been like the rights of it must have been on some station or something. Jack
we
Boy
might
in
have to
chat says, not Lego Batman. I don't know about Lego Batman.
Live actions. We're talking live action.
Maybe we do the pilot ep for the show too.
Wow.
Now we're talking.
Okay. All right. So that's our last of our picks, but there is a 5th week in April. So we were thinking about doing a vote on our Patreon that is comprised of our Plan B picks that didn't make the cut. So stay tuned for information about that post on Patreon. It will be that movie, the final movie of the month will be selected by our patrons. I've got some insane Plan Bs on my list. Do you want to hear what the thriller one was?
Yeah,
that I almost chose. I mean, I have like 10 movies on this list. It's a private list here. I can find it. My Plan B pick was going to be Targets from Peter Bogdanovich.
That was on my list too.
Oh, the fate of a washed-up horror actor intersects with a psychotic sniper on a killing spree.
That looks insane.
That one is
Did
a
Bad
renter.
Spider cover that?
I think they might have.
Someone's talked about Targets recently.
This was one of my other Plan Bs. It was a little long. 1965, directed by Robert Wise, The Sound of Music.
Casey said
but I
that
couldn't
one.
remember if you like hated that movie
I hate it.
one of you.
I hate it, and it's Casey's favorite movie of all time.
Right. Yeah, I know that.
I couldn't remember what order that was because I was like, what if I pick this and he's like pissed that I picked it?
I wouldn't be pissed.
Also,
no,
it's
no,
3
no,
hours.
no, no. I'd love to cover it on the show at some point. That's
yeah, I
for
think
sure.
it would be a fun watch. So
I have PTSD from that movie. That's what it is.
we
Just
haven't
like the
done a
kids
musical in a
watching
long time.
Ghostwatch.
Yeah, it's true. We haven't done one. My Plan B. So the movie, if we would have ended up doing Sexual Michael Douglas Month, I was going to throw a curveball and not do a Michael Douglas, but do a Kirk Douglas. Back where it all started.
20,000 Leagues?
No, Spartacus.
Spartacus.
From 1960.
Damn, that would have been nuts. We got to
That's
put
not
that
available,
on the
though. I think
list.
I pulled that one up. That one's hard to find unless you buy
is
it.
it really?
I had 2 or 3 other Plan Bs, but Pardo's like AFI journey almost like nullified them because you've watched them within the last like 6 months. So The Graduate was kind of out. To Kill a Mockingbird was one of them also. I think you just watched that. So, but stay tuned for the vote.
My 2 Plan Bs that are probably just going to be in the voting, I guess if that's how we're doing it. I had Bullet. I was going to do Steve McQueen's Bullet.
I thought you were going to pick Bullet.
Yeah.
Damn.
That one I don't know if I could take if you guys don't like it. So I wasn't, my heart wasn't ready. And then
chasing.
I think the one that's definitely going to be, if up for voting, is Mary Poppins.
Oh,
Whoa.
hello.
Whoa. My God, can you imagine if we had Mary Poppins and Sound of Music in the same month? That would have been insane.
Yeah, that'd have been nuts.
Damn. Okay, so if you want to rock the vote, join our
Stay in
Patreon and choose what the final movie of the month will be. Boy. Let's say hello to some new patrons who are about to get access to our Cinema Paradiso episode. We recorded that this week. That is going to be in the 70mm vault, only available to patrons. Blonded MC, Jake, Shakiri, and Samuel all joined this past week among many free members who are getting access to our Harry Potter episode, which will be available for 2 more weeks for free. And then also I'll call out 3 who became interns. Tim, Jason, and Hugh all moved up to become interns on our Patreon and get access to, I mean, obviously the main reason to upgrade to intern tier is to hear Dale and I talk about David Copperfield magic specials.
Agreed.
Yep.
But there are other reasons why you might want to join to become an intern. So do we have time to talk about anything we watched? We want to save it for the uncut. We're almost 22 minutes into this thing here.
You're sweating it. You're sweating it.
I know. I'm looking at the time. You know, I'm trying to keep things under. We got 2 voicemails too. Let's save what we watched for the uncut episode.
Okay.
For our patrons. Get a little movie talk in the post show. Oh, we didn't talk about the Beetlejuice trailer. Beetlejuice.
What do you think? Because I know you love Beetlejuice like so much.
I love Beetlejuice.
You and Amanda
my
love
wife
it.
My wife and I met while watching Beetlejuice.
Excuse me.
I just made that up.
Oh, I was
made
like,
that up.
God.
The idea of a Beetlejuice sequel honestly repulses me. Like it's like how we exhausted all potential ideas with the shriveled up remains of Tim Burton's brain at this point. Like,
oh my gosh.
What
a mercy.
I don't know. But I'll see it. I'm just going in with pretty low expectations.
I've never seen you this pissed.
I just felt like at the end of it, maybe it's just the trailer edit. It just feels like, come on. It's just probably just the trailer edit. But I'm going to see it. I hope it's really good. I like Michael Keaton. I thought he was great in The Flash, even though everyone spread their cheeks and took a steamer on that movie.
Excuse me.
But he was great in it. Yeah. What did you think of the trailer, Danny?
I think it looks like a Beetlejuice movie, so I'm excited. I think.
Pardo? What does Pardo think?
I didn't watch it.
I do. One thing that I love two things. Well, yeah, two things. I love they refilmed it in the town again. They rebuilt that area up. It's not on the dome. It's not like on sets. I do like that they've put the house back wherever they filmed it at again. I love that it's called Beetlejuice and not like some stupid title. And I'm assuming we're going to get
the Frozen Empire.
Right. So I'm assuming we're going to get Beetlejuice for the third movie, which would be fun. I like that kind of stuff. So.
Every week we give out a free year of Letterboxd patron. Get a banner on your profile. Gets rid of ads. That's probably the biggest thing. And you can enter to win by tagging your review 70mm pod. This week it's about Ghostwatch. There was a lot of Ghostwatch logs. Archive.org/Shudder coming through. So we'll see if there's as many The Innocents logs coming through. 5 stars from Daniel Kira.
Oh my
Quote,
gosh.
gonna tell my kids this was Sam and Colby.
Stupid. Oh my God.
Man, we were hard into the Sam and Colby paranormal scandal this year. You want to feel old? That was only 2 weeks ago. That entire scandal.
Stupid.
Ghostwatch, our 211th main feed episode, real deal episode from 1992. This is my pick to close out 90-ish minutes or less month. Part of what's this dang thing about?
In 1992, on Halloween night, the BBC aired a quote-unquote live event investigating a supposed London home haunted by a poltergeist. The event begins without much activity, but soon, strange things begin to happen until it is revealed that the broadcast has conducted a seance throughout the entire country. At this point, the special ends and it is time for bed. Good night, England.
Right. We got to solve this princess debate too this week.
Yeah.
We didn't solve it last week.
We need
so there was more photos. Yeah. There was she was allegedly outside in public with the prince.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was a body double. Obviously.
Heidi.
I wonder how much the impact of the UK controversy this week allowed people to want to watch Ghostwatch. You know, they're so connected to the goings on. I want more. I don't know what made me want to watch this a few years ago for the first time. Maybe I saw something on Reddit because it wasn't streaming on Shudder, a couple years ago. It was kind of hard to find. And I referenced last week that it's on archive.org. So that might have even been how I watched it. There wasn't a kind of like fancy Blu-ray release that is on my desk. Oh, I meant to do an unboxing of that. I'll do that tomorrow.
Oh, gosh.
So over the last couple of years, it's picked up some steam and some recognition, and due in part because of like, I think Host had come out during the pandemic, which I loved. It's like a 60-minute seance that young friends do over Zoom, which I love. I love that movie. It's so fun. And I believe the writer of that movie credits some of Ghostwatch to like them creating that movie. Like I think they grew up watching Ghostwatch. So I'd heard about it somewhere. I've watched it a few times, added into our Halloween rotation. And I just love it. I love having people watch it for the first time. It's a lot of fun. Danny, what about you? This was a first time watch, I do believe, for you?
Yeah, you had convinced me to watch it a little while ago. And I think I had started it and I stopped it because I think I maybe was trying to watch it while I worked, and I wasn't giving it the attention it deserved. So I never went back to it because I think you had always, I feel like you've talked about doing this on the show since day one.
Yeah.
It feels like. So I just waited. I just kind of put it in the back burner and I waited because I knew the time would come for this. Yeah. I knew you too well.
All too well.
Frodo?
Yeah, I watched this. Wow. At this point, it was 2021.
So that's 7 years ago.
It's crazy, the math. But so it's been a couple years. And I think, you must have was that when you watched it? 2021 the first time?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Okay, yeah. So I must have, threw it on. It was October. And I had a great time. And I'm back for more.
Month. Wonder what did I choose for Halloween month that wasn't this? I'm gonna have to go back to the tapes. I have to get something off my chest. Amanda, my lovely wife, she's so burned out on movies. If you look at my Letterboxd, I'm barely watching anything this year. Usually when we relax after work, it's like I say in the Greg Turkington voice, it's movie time, and then she eye rolls and does whatever. But she literally told me, she's like, I can't do movies anymore. I don't think I like movies.
No.
So we are in crisis mode in this house. So I need to sneak in what I can. So I think that also had something to do with me selecting this because she's watched this before and it's a horror movie. We generally only watch horror movies. So this rewatch was so much fun, and I had to give props to the Blu-ray. I think from 101. I can't remember what the company is called, but they had this great box set. It's in the thick Arrow box set vibe. There's a booklet. There's placards inside. It's great. But the idea of this movie in 1992 airing on television on the BBC and them not telling anyone that it was a faux documentary, a movie.
Yeah.
And people freaking out in 1992 because they're calling the station, the lines are busy. They have no idea if it's real or not. Can this ever happen again? Can anything this cool happen again in our society? Honestly, is the fun times over? Can we trick people like this again?
It would have to be incredibly smart. I know Blair Witch did it. Blair Witch fooled people as well. I know
that was still pre.
That was 96, media. Right? I guess it's only a few years after this still.
Yeah.
Right? This is 92.
It's late 90s, I feel like.
Does anyone know?
But even then, we're talking still VHS era Blair Witch. Blair Witch was a VHS era. And remember the MTV aired the making the pre-movie stuff for Blair Witch. So even early on, you're still getting fooled. And you can't just research it. You can't Google something to find out if something is real or not. I feel like that kind of fun is gone, pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be so hard to do. It would be really hard to do.
Yeah. Well, now we live in a world where everyone thinks everything's fake, even the real stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this whole Kate Middleton thing is maybe we're getting faked out right now. We're in the midst of one.
God.
But I feel I feel like it would be less of maybe a movie. I feel like it'd be harder to pull off something like this. But you could, I think, if you had some kind of orchestrated effort among you would need buy-in. This had the BBC. You're watching something on the BBC. Of course it's real, right?
Mm-hmm.
They never do anything like this. So you would need some kind of official trusted source to kind of back the claims, I think, to make something like this possible now.
Yeah.
I think it helped the actors too, that they were recognizable faces in the British, media, but they weren't
Michael Parkinson.
They weren't Brad Pitt and, hired actors that we could easily suss out that these are actors. Not that they aren't talented at what they do, but it was these could actually be people hosting this live event taking place in this house.
Yeah, an alien invasion at Don Lemon's house, people would believe it.
Right, exactly.
Can you imagine Don Lemon doing that? He brings on special correspondent Elon Musk into the studio to talk about the veracity of alien invasion and what they would be after. Oh my God, my brain is melting out of my ears.
So actually, it's
I watched 2 seconds of that interview and I wanted to go jump out the window. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
I wrote down, since we talked about the phone, since you brought the phone call, I wrote down the recording. If you called in, so that was one way that you could find out that this was fake, was if you called the number, the voicemail would say, all the events in Ghostwatch are fictional. Please don't worry. If you would still like to leave us a message with your own paranormal experiences, please do so. And they said that they had over 20,000 calls, and they had, and the problem was it became a busy dial tone. So people were freaking out because they couldn't get through. And then when how this ends with the studio getting taken over as well, it's like, people were losing their minds.
Right.
The only way that they could find out that this was fake real time, it's a busy signal.
And then even after that, what are you doing? Trying to read the paper?
You can't Google.
To see if there's anything. You're just like, oh, let's see what the paper says tomorrow if anything's about this. And then maybe by that time it's too late. You have to wait 2 days to see if anyone writes anything.
Yeah.
Sarah Green, the lady that is in the house, she had to go live on television to reassure her audience, which is like children's books that she read to kids, that she was not still locked in the house with the violent ghost pipes.
Pardo, what's at the top of your list for this viewing, Ghostwatch?
The top of my list is that I think while watching this, the production feels too good for live TV. There were so many moments as I'm watching it that everything is just like, I mean, it's a great viewing experience because it's so fluid and just like, there's no breaks, there's no pauses, there's no like misconnections with people. Actually, the technology that they show in this is like blowing my mind. How like everyone is at all times ready to be like on the talking on the phone. There's no mics anywhere. Everyone can hear each other. There's video piped from every single room, and it just like flows perfectly. It doesn't feel like live TV at all, but it's actually really satisfying how smooth it is as you watch it. And I think that helps to like draw you in and just get sucked into what's happening.
Yeah. There's only one audio guy, and he's getting probably the greatest audio he's ever going to get in his entire life from everyone in a room. And he's like not even really angling at them, and they sound incredible. Yeah.
I was dreaming while watching, because I feel the same way, Proto. It does feel like so well done. I was just like sitting there dreaming, like if I could have watched this on a CRT in 92, like it still would have fooled me. Like if I saw it as a kid, I would have been effed up bad.
Yeah.
This would definitely, I would have believed every second of this.
Mm-hmm. I saw an IG, in my IG Explorer, they served me up someone with a CRT in their office. Or was that in our Discord? Someone had a CRT on their desk and they were like watching television.
Friend, I think.
Oh yeah, that's my friend Hayden. That's an OG.
We need to figure that out. How come we don't have CRTs on our desk that are just playing a constant stream of some YouTube whatever?
Yeah, he has a dedicated CRT for YouTube at his desk. I'll link it in chat. I have it.
We need to get some background information on this. We need to find out what the official 70mm CRT model is that we can get on eBay.
That's true.
For less than $100, hopefully.
OLED CRT.
The LG vintage line. There was a couple moments with the actor Funny Man. Was it Craig Charles? Who there was a couple like dead air moments when he's like trying to fill time making jokes.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know what made me think of this, but he's from that TV show Red Dwarf, which I guess was big in the UK. And that's like why he is there. You know, he's like UK Funny Man, which I thought was a pretty smart addition, because you could totally see a modern day version of this, like maybe like a telethon of them getting some funny guy to like, add some levity to the situation.
Wayne Brady.
He's actually why I brought up Robot Wars earlier, because when I was watching this, I'm thinking, this guy's voice is so familiar. I know this guy from something. And then it just clicked in my head that he was the host of Robot Wars for like 7 years.
Oh wow.
And I watched all of that with my dad, like growing up. So like I could hear him doing like the descriptions of the robots fighting in the arena still. And and that's what I was connecting his voice to.
That's crazy.
Danny, top of your list?
Top of my list is pipes. I think one of the most brilliant things they do in this episode or this movie, when they first are in the girls' room and they have the person call in and it's like Pipes is standing there, or the figure standing there in the drapes, and they have like that moment, 5 minutes where they kind of do like, is he there? Isn't he there? We can clearly see them. They can't really see them. People are calling in. I thought that was brilliant because now it sets the tone for the entire rest of the movie where I'm looking for Pipes in every corner of so I'm like super now invested into every scene of this film for just because they have like 5 minutes of like just saying, hey, look, Pipes is in the curtains. And now I'm like, what was that shape behind that person? Is that a silhouette? Right. Who, like the quick cutaway of the reflection on the sliding glass door, and she's picking up like the seance circle of crowns. Like you see him in the circle, or he's in the crowd when he's doing like the crowd work outside. There's that skull face dude just standing in the background. I mean, there's so many moments where now I'm like, I'm super invested looking in every corner of every frame to find Pipes. And I thought that was just like such a brilliant bit of writing and something that I was supposed to believe is real, because now I'm just like, let's go. I'm finding Pipes.
And it's like live TV too. So it's like no one's rewinding. It's either you see that, someone catches it and then says they saw something. They're just going to have to take your word for it until this is re-aired, which it never was for like 10 years. They do
that when she's like in the hallway and you see, I'm going to say glory hole, when their glory hole opens. And you catch Pipes like barely, like you think, oh my God, I'm about to see Pipes full on. But then like the cameraman like crashes and like gets hurt like right away. And then it like cuts away like right when you think you're going to get a full shot of Pipes. I was like, oh my God, perfect.
Yeah, the outline of him in the curtains, like when it's still pretty quiet to start the show, but someone calls in and says that like, I think I saw something in the curtains. And they're like, yeah, we'll get can we rewind the footage? Can we take another look at things? And they like trick you into thinking it's there and then it's not there because every time they go back to it. So good. And then I also loved how the doctor like kind of explains it away. She's like, she draws on with a light pen. Yeah. And she draws it like, yeah, it's pretty, yeah, you could say that it's a face. But then I don't even know if I caught this until this viewing, which was when they were listening to the audio and the lights go down when they had those like the audio reels where they're listening to the thing in the darkness and the lights go down behind them. I was like, wait, I think I see him in the background there. And then I eventually did watch that like clip on YouTube of like all Pipes' secret appearances in Ghostwatch, and like that shows up. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. Did you watch that video part where they show him like all the various points where he's like hidden? I missed like 2 or 3 of them, even on my third viewing.
Yeah, I think the first time I watched this, I think I had it on like in the background. So watching it this time, there were certain moments where I was like, I don't remember seeing this. So in some ways, it felt like I was seeing parts of it for the first time.
Yeah, I think I'm like the second time we watched it, I think Amanda saw him in the crowd in the audience, but I never rewound at the time. She's like, is that him? There's just like, it's almost like obvious when you rewind it because there's just like this dude with like no eyes and blood down his face. But because of the way the interview is happening, you're just trained on them. You're barely even looking at the passerbys that are standing there. You just think, okay, there's a crowd of people there. Nothing to look at here. So well done.
And you just brought it up, Slim, talking about like watching this live then. like our brains are so trained to where we can just pause TV, skip back. The fact that you catch this out of the corner of your eye in 92 and you can't go back to see it again, like, or to be like, did you just see what I saw? Like, you can't like that's all you can do is look to the person next to you and be like, did you just see that? Because I saw that. Right. He's standing right there. This is really happening. They're all about to die. Like, I can't imagine that anxiety at that time.
Yeah, Kirby in chat says I would have been traumatized. I mean, imagine seeing pipes in the reflection as a 10-year-old, whereas like an 8-year-old on live TV. And I think I wrote in my review the second time I watched it, we had James watch it with us. So he was, I guess, like 11 or 12 when we watched it. And he honestly was like unsure. At the end of the movie, he's like, so was that real or not? He didn't quite see it clearly. So that's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah. There has to be some kids who were just up all night after this. Like, I can't imagine seeing this as a kid. I don't think I would have watched the whole thing. I think I would have noped out once it got
Cover
dicey.
your eyes.
Yeah. Or my mom would have threw the TV out the window. Like, I don't think we'd be watching this.
She would have yanked the cord out of the wall. Let's see. I mean, I talked for a little bit, so let's go to Prot. Next on your list.
I love how this is a slow build, and they really take their time. I felt that the first time, and I'll be honest, like when you picked this, I was like, oh man, this is like really slow to start, and even though it's 90 minutes, it's a slow build. And I kind of felt that way as I was watching it. It's like they really take their time, but in that way, it's so great because it feels really like they get you to buy into the idea that this would be like a paranormal event on Halloween night where nothing spectacular is going to happen. Right. It's like, they're just following these two girls around and they're giving you the history, and then they're cutting to the comic relief guy outside, and they're just trying to fill the hour with whatever they can. And then it slowly starts to get, crazier and crazier. And it's so satisfying to me how this, even though I think it starts really slowly, it totally pays off by the end. And the whole process, is great. It's just great writing.
Yeah. It's also like pretty realistic to how some, like Danny and I have watched a ton of ghost hunting shows, and they've attempted live Halloween specials, and they're usually pretty terrible.
They're bad.
Like they're 3 hours, and they bring in, the host of Expedition X or whatever the hell that show is to like host the night. And they're going from like section to, I hear we're going to so-and-so over by the East Wing. Let's check in with them. And there's like nothing going on. Anyone who has ever gone to like an actual haunted place to do a ghost hunt, it could be like 5 hours of nothing. Like, so the idea of doing a live show from one of these places is like, you're gambling really hard with this. So in that respect, the slow build and how they're trying to like feel out the night, I think it works amazing. Danny?
I love the finale. I love the idea of Pipes or whatever the entity is taking over the studio. I thought that going completely unhinged is just so much fun. Like it just, I keep saying it, but I cannot imagine watching that. Just like, cause it's like, I kept thinking like, would people think we're next because we're watching this? It's like the studio was kind of just doing the same things they were doing, was watching the events take place. Like this isn't contained to just that house anymore. This has now gone to the studio. Are we next because we watched this? Like, what did we just invite into our own house? I thought like the build up to the ending being this insane takeover of the studio, things, sparking, blowing up. Even what's his name? The main host, he like acts possessed at one point where it's like just that close up of like half his body talking on screen. Like that's insane to me. Like I couldn't believe it. So I thought the build up to the finale was well warranted. I loved it.
I think Amanda on this watch was like, "Who's operating the cameras? What's all this wind? Where's it coming from?"
Yeah, that final shot of Parkinson talking in the demon talk, the pipes voice, that is just so unhinged that they did that. I would love to hear stories.
It's unhinged.
I would love, there was like an older brother at someone's home who like then faked like going into a seizure like after this and just like scared their siblings shitless for the rest of their lives.
So Danny, did you watch this with any of the younger members of your family?
No, but I think I'll definitely show my oldest Olive. I think she'll love this. But I don't think I won't tell her that it's fake. I'll see what she thinks.
Right.
Actually, she listens to the podcast, so maybe I have to have her see it before she listens to the episode.
Put it on a VHS tape and say, like, I just got my hands on this VHS tape from eBay from an old broadcast.
Yeah, she would die.
Yeah, the slow build stuff. I also loved the kind of slow unraveling of the story of the house and the land. Mm-hmm. Like some people call in with new bits of information, and then the one guy calls in and asks, like, did you know that they sublet the house to someone? And the doctor's like, I didn't know that. And it's like new information to talk about how this guy, had various issues. Yeah, man, the slow build stuff is so good. And also like people calling in to say that their clocks have stopped is like so, wild now. It's like, okay, calm down. But like back then, man, I would have chocolate pudding in my shorts if I was watching this. Like absolute pudding time. I don't understand how people weren't arrested, really, for the production of this show.
Yeah, right.
So I have to bring it up because you said you had pudding. I looked up like aftermath, like what happened, like the responses. One lady wrote in an angry letter detailing how her veteran husband from the military, he soiled himself so many times that the BBC owed them new pants. She wrote a letter to the BBC, absolutely mad that how many times her husband crapped himself watching this.
Why did they not just turn the channel? Put something else on.
Yeah, she wanted BBC to pick up the bill for a new pair of corduroys.
Oh my God. Good pair of corduroys.
Give me a new bucket, love. Can't turn the telly.
Fetch me the turlet, love. Oh boy. Whose turn is it? Is it my turn? Let's see if I have any more. There's so much. We talked a little bit about like Romulus being like a horror movie, but there's just something about the kind of like, there's like no special effects really in this movie. It's all like, I just wish there was more in modern day of like fun experimentation like this, where it's, not really done like in camera effects, but pretty low key. Like we talked a little bit about with like lo-fi sci-fi. I guess you could kind of compare the two, but maybe I need to start doing some poking around on like lo-fi horror. What are the creepy lo-fi, low budget horror movies that maybe I'm missing because I'm not really looking around for them. But there's just something so endearing about this being made in 1992 on what I presume is a relatively cheap budget compared to horror movies that were coming out at the time. And done so in a realistic way that it is pretty frightening and it is realistic. And I know a lot of the appeal is like, I can't imagine this being watched live, but I still think it holds up. And I still think it's like fun and infinitely rewatchable, like every Halloween, I think. Death to CGI is what I'm saying, I guess.
Interesting.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
We'll see if that's the case in Beetlejuice. Maybe they don't use CGI at all in that.
Has Tim learned, corrected his ways? Did he learn his lesson? Charlie in the... What did he do? Charlie in the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
I can't name 5 Tim Burton movies that have come out in the last 10 years, I don't think.
Yes,
Escape from the Land of Oz.
Is that you just made that up? That's not
That's
real,
Johnny
is
Depp
it?
one.
Escape from the Land of Oz is a Johnny Depp movie?
Oh my God.
I don't believe
I
that.
might have messed up on the title.
I'm sorting by release date, newest first. Dumbo. Okay, 2019. So it's been a while since he did a movie. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Big Eyes. Dark Shadows. Alice in Wonderland. Sweeney Todd.
That's
I
it.
thought he did
Alice
more
in
movies than
Wonderland.
that. Okay. I'm withdrawing some of my accusations. But Jash in chat asked thoughts on the WNUF Halloween special. That's also kind of like a lo-fi horror, television program horror thing. I did not love that when I watched it. This is one of those like times that Shudder scammed me. This was like really highly rated. Like, the infamous 1987 live broadcast. A local TV personality leads a team of supernatural investigators, including an exorcist, into the darkest corner of a supposedly haunted house. I give it 3 stars. I was kind of let down by it. It's a lot of parody commercials. There's almost too many, but not for me. Perdo, final note for Ghostwatch?
I just kind of have my honorable mentions.
Let's hear it.
Early on, she says something along the lines of, we ran a computer program about haunted locations in the UK. And this is like 1992. I know it's all fake, but I would just love to. What kind of computer program are you running? And what kind of data do you have on haunted locations in the UK? I just wish there was some kind of graphic of like some kind of computer algorithm and like what it spit out to them.
I love how we do this a lot in older movies, but there's like a threshold of like where we just don't believe anything was possible.
Right.
But we just have refused to believe that any computer programming anything was being done. But yeah, I agree. What is it, like a floppy disk that they just put in? It's hard locations in like a spreadsheet or something, and she just adds that up.
Right. The mother saying glory hole with a straight face.
Maybe it's different over there.
Yeah.
What's the history on that?
Maybe it's called something else over there.
I'm not Googling the history of glory hole.
Any
different in other countries.
Anyone from the UK listening, can you let us know what a glory hole means?
I think we have a VM from Tom with an H. I think maybe even Tom watched this live when it came out.
Oh.
We'll find out.
Tom's that old.
The glory hole. Revealing from Tom. Thank you. I love the American doctor who was like interviewed at one point.
Yes.
He sounds just like Jeff Goldblum to me.
Like, that is an amazing name too. Dr. Emilio Silvestri. The American doctor name.
Yeah, if I had my eyes closed, I would have thought it was Jeff Goldblum. One of the things I loved from Parkinson and then also Craig Charles was somebody would say something completely insane to them, and then they'd be like, well, that's interesting. And like they'd be like, I'm sorry, but we got to cut away to something else. Like there's this scene where Craig Charles, he's like they go outside and then he walks down the street and they go to like that playground area or whatever. And then he's like talking to a local who's just like hanging out. It's like 9:30 at night and he's just hanging out at the playground.
Yeah.
But the person is like describing things that happen. And he says like at one point there was a dog who was cut open and there was fetuses and they were scattered around the play area. And that's why, no one comes back here. And then Craig Charles like looks at the TV and he's like, well, I can see why not. And then he just like starts walking off. I'm like, dude, that is like one of the craziest things that someone could tell you right here. And he's just like, well, and thanks for the story. And I'll just keep going.
So good.
We need to host our own live ghost hunt on television. We need to make this a reality. Some kind of live video production. Can we make some calls to make this happen, please?
Make TV
We'll
great
find
again.
our own glory hole.
Oh, yeah. Parkinson. Yeah, he's taking a phone call like near the end where they're starting to get like calls about the seances is like it's spreading throughout the country. And the one kid is like, my kids won't look away. There's blood on the walls. And Parkinson's like, he's like, oh, well, thank you for the call. But we have to return to, it's just like as if he's not even listening to what they're saying.
I also love how they use those phones too. Like actually in the studio, they had to pick up a phone, the two hosts, to hear the caller. So funny.
Everyone else is just like piped in into the room and it sounds perfect, but when it's a phone call. Yeah, I had a great time with this. Again, like the slow burn, I think it really pays off with even how slow it is. It is almost like a thing that I could just like I just want to put on like in the background and you don't even have to like worry about it. And then once it gets cooking, then you like, you kind of can't look away. So I'm at 4 stars for
baby.
Okay.
I think it's very unique. Like this is, there's nothing else like this. I was trying to think of like, you know, even like found footage stuff. This is like in a category of its own, really.
Yeah. Every time I look up this movie, there's people like suggesting other watches that are, you know, I'm always chasing the high of Ghostwatch, but the only thing that's really come close for me is Host, the Zoom seance movie.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Danny, final thoughts?
5 stars. That's my final thought. I have such a fun time watching this. It's so good. The lore behind this, everything about this. I just had a great time watching it. Just that's it. I mean, I would recommend people to watch this. I think I'm going to like tell more people to check it out. It's just, I need like a nice release. I need a VHS release of this. That's what they should actually do. That'd be amazing.
What a dream. Let's see. Someone in chat, where is it? Someone in chat asked about Lake Mungo. Jaish. What about Lake Mungo? Yeah, believe it or not, I think after we recorded and I made my pick for Ghostwatch, I might have even been Proto. Like you said off air, I can't believe you didn't pick Lake Mungo. And I totally forgot about Lake Mungo. So if I had remembered about Lake Mungo, I might have picked it. But that movie, you know, Ghostwatch is in a category of its own. Honestly, I think Lake Mungo is in a category of its own too. Very different movies, very weird expectations and interpretations of that movie. So it's not necessarily found footage. I wouldn't call it a mockumentary either. It's more of like I think that it's called something else, maybe like faux documentary. It's very hard to explain. You just kind of have to watch it and feel, I think.
Okay. Your turn, Slim.
Where do we go from here? Okay. Honorable mentions. Can people please watch Host? Question mark. Please watch Host. Oh, they were talking about the drawing. And then I think it was Parkinson. Someone asked, like, who drew it? And someone was like, I think it's Parkinson. He's like, who or what? They just let just a little bit time after that sentence. It was cracking me up. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm moving up to 5 stars too. I had a great time. Great time. The box Blu-ray includes.
Hold it up.
I'm just hold it up for a little bit. Look at the size of this thing here.
What the?
Oh my.
Yeah. It includes a lot of goodies. It includes these. I mean, look at all these cards of the actors in the movie.
Oh, wow.
I'm holding this up to the camera. And then it smells great. Oh, God, it smells fantastic.
Glory hole.
It also includes a little booklet with some writing about the movie, but then it also includes the shooting script in like booklet form.
Oh, wow.
A lot of sections like highlighted. There's some notes written above the script. Very cool. Very, very worth the money if you can track it down. It's 101 is the distributor. Very good. Okay. So we have some VMs, but Proto, is there any community reviews tagged 70mm for Ghostwatch that you wanted to highlight before we get to the VMs?
Yeah, we got a lot of good reactions from the Ghostwatch viewings in the village. Becky Rice, she gave it 5 stars. An absolute masterpiece.
Oh my gosh.
This would have scared me S-less if I'd watched it when it aired. Genuinely terrified of pipes. And then our friend Art, he gave it 3.5 stars. He said would pay to watch a modern update done in a Minnesota TV market with Fargo accents. Could it still be spooky? Makes you think.
3.5? Art only give it 3.5?
It's a slip. He didn't mean that.
Yeah,
he'll fix
like an error.
Post.
Can we check that art?
That's not the Art we know.
No, not our art.
No.
Watch it again, Art. Watch it again. And then we'll hear from Tom. You know, Tom gave it 5 stars, and from his review, he says he witnessed it live.
Oh,
childhood ruined. So
childhood ruined.
My God, the end of innocence for Tom. Okay. Oh, you know what? There was another fun one. Was this movie called Deadstream? That one depends on if people are really like in the mood to try some wacky horror. But this one was like a disgraced internet personality attempts to win back his followers by live streaming one night alone in a haunted house. But when he accidentally pisses off a vengeful spirit, his big comeback event becomes a real-time fight for his life. This one was pretty fun. This is on Shudder. It's also like, it's a mix. It's like a comedy horror, which is pretty hard to do. So check that out. All right, let's hear from our VMs. First, let's hear from Zach.
Hey, Danny. Hey, Proto. Hey, Slim. This is Zach A. from the Upper Peninsula. Again, just calling in. I loved Ghostwatch. So good. It's such a clever, interesting way to set everything up. And I feel like it builds just right. And I feel like it ends at the perfect time where you like want more, but it's also like more than you were expecting to get from it. Oh, it's so good. It's just when everything's getting crazy there at the end, I was losing my mind. I thought it was really awesome. So, if I wouldn't have listened to this podcast, I never would have even heard of this movie. And so I'm so glad that I found this and that you guys even recommended it. I gave it 4 stars. I'll probably give it more on a second chance. I love this kind of stuff. And speaking of, I was wondering, because there's some love for ghost hunting among you guys, if you've ever heard of the movies, the Grave Encounters movies, they're kind of spoofing Ghost Adventures. Like the guy is very similar to the guy from Ghost Adventures, and it's kind of a found footage. They're like filming an episode, and then things go wrong, you know, like in a horror movie sense. Anyway, as a preface, it's not nearly as good as Ghostwatch, so just keep that in mind. But I love it. I love those movies. It's the first one's great, and the second one is a great sequel to the first one. So if you've ever watched it, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. If you hate it, that's fine. I want to know why. If you haven't seen it, maybe watch it, and then maybe cover it on this podcast. I don't know. I think it could be fun. So anyway, that's my recommendation. Thanks again for picking this movie, Slim. I think it's awesome, and I hope you guys are doing well, and keep up the good work. Bye.
Thank you, Zach. I have seen Grave Encounters, but that was BLB, and they definitely parody Ghost Adventures.
Yeah,
like look at that dude, look at the crew there, and that's the Ghost Adventures parody.
I came across this. I don't remember why I came across this. I completely forgot to ask you about it, so I'm excited to think about this again. They did 2 movies. Oh yes, the cover for the second movie is what I remember.
Oh God,
gnarly!
Look at that. Slow down. Go to cover.
Yeah.
NSFW. Okay, next. Thank you, Zach. Next VM from Tom with an H.
Hi, everyone. It's Tom Mook here. I wanted to take you back in time to when little Tommy was sitting in front of the TV, all excited for the much anticipated showing of Ghostwatch a live TV extravaganza with our most trusted TV presenters, one from Kids TV, one a stalwart of celebrity interviews on his chat show. And we settle in. Starts to get a bit creepy. Starts to get really creepy, but I'm there sitting with all my older brothers and sisters and cousins, pretending it's all fine, it's all good. Then it gets too much. The whole TV studio's getting ripped apart. I can't take it anymore. It's time to go to bed. Me and my older sister, too scared to sleep alone. We sleep in the same room for the first time in about 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
And to calm us down, we thought we'd listen to a nice little story tape. And what happens to our story tape that we're listening to in the dark? The tape gets chewed up and starts going.
Oh my God.
I think I probably did not need to use that sleeping bag again because I was so scared. Horrible things happened. And this trauma made me maybe not sleep for the next year or so. And I just want to thank 70mm for bringing this trauma back to me. And I will never, ever watch this program or film or whatever we want to call it ever again. So that's it. Just wanted to share that with you. Bye-bye.
My gosh.
Traumatized.
Mm-hmm. He won't even watch it again.
Trauma month on 70mm.
That is
Mr.
wild.
Mephistopheles suggests. My God.
Gosh.
That sleeping bag's in the trash can that night.
Mhm.
Parents don't need to know anything about it. Just put it in there. You're safe. Oh, God. I shudder to think watching this when it came out. I refuse to think about it any further. Next week is my pick. We're staying in the horror lane, folks, but it's going to get a little more dramatic. It's streaming for free on YouTube. There's a link in the episode notes for you to find it, but you can just search for it. There's a good quality one. There's two available, but one of them is better quality. The Innocents, 1961, directed by Jack Clayton. It's got a Criterion release. The Criterion cover is very nice. I'm excited. Big month, right? I mean, the picks for this month is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Batman 66 alone.
Batman 66.
Yeah, it's wild.
Should we read their book before the episode comes out? Didn't they write a book about how like sexy their time filming Batman was?
Oh,
like
those two were a sexy time.
Those two were getting crazy in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll get into it. Frodo, any closing thoughts this week?
Closing thoughts. We have a big weekend. We got a little Philly meetup happening.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Don't talk about it with me present.
Sorry, Danny, just close your ears for a minute. Okay. But everyone who's going to be there, can't wait to see everybody. Watch Godzilla together at the Highway Theater. It's going to be a great time. Can't wait. We're mere hours away.
My God, we are. It's close. 1:30 p.m. showing, 12:30? I can't remember.
12:30.
Early. 12:30? Maybe we go over to Human Robot afterward, get some snackies. You know?
Some wings.
Oh my God.
God. I can't wait to be working on the Ghostwatch art while I'm getting texts while you guys are having a great time.
Selfies.
The most obnoxious selfies and adding them to you. God. Oh boy. All right, we'll see everybody next week for The Innocents for 60s month. Millimeter is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large Dale _A. And music composed by Cinematrix. prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.